Hey friends, thanks for joining me on what is usually a pretty rare on-screen appearance for me. I'm talking to you here from the famous workbench that so many of you have watched projects unfold on. And I'm just going to give you a little update on where the channel's going, and kind of what's coming up. So first off, to start, I want to thank all of my subscribers that do subscribe to the channel, do like and comment on the videos. I monetized my channel. I'm not one of the landed gentry millionaires of YouTube. I think every 3 to 4 months I probably collect the bare minimum $100 that Google will send you. So, I'm not making $1 million. I know the ads are a pain, but every penny that I do get comes back to the workshop or trains or other things. I know my tractor videos are pretty popular. This has been a weird year for me, so to speak. With the combination of high gas prices and both my jobs being very busy, I haven't really gone out to a lot of tractor shows. I don't think actually any this year, at least that I filmed. No, I don't think I went on at all. I haven't taken the Cub Cadet anywhere for display. As far as the rail cars, I actually didn't take out my orange MT-19 at all this year. And I didn't do as many track car excursions as I would have liked. In addition to work being busy, my daughter's now old enough to play sports, so that kind of ate into a lot more time than I thought it would. Plus, work's been busy, and obviously vocation comes before recreation. And also, we've kind of gone some different directions. As you've seen, the LBSC Juliet locomotive, which is the 3.5-inch gauge ride-on engine, that's been a lot of fun. It needed a lot of work. It was in poor shape when it got here, and I don't have much of a history on it. The previous owner didn't do a lot with it, and I didn't have a lot of good information on it. So I appreciate all the people that watch those videos and kind of watched it come along in the Gold Spike ceremony. That was a lot of fun. As far as the model railroad, same thing. I really haven't been down here a lot. This is actually our first year on the Tour De Chooch in 2 years. 2019 was the last year, and then 2020 the tour was canceled, and 2021 we had signed up to be on it, and right before, like literally probably 3-4 days beforehand, we got approval to ride our track cars from Concord, New Hampshire, down to Tingsboro, Mass, which is a once-in-a-lifetime track car ride. And I'll include a link to the description of that video down here. On my car, I brought the Boston and Maine Historical Society film crew, and it was a good time. That was a once-in-a-lifetime track car opportunity that at the time Pan Am Railways afforded us, and that was never to be repeated. And I had to choose that over the tour last year. So this is our first year. And I'm going to go over in the layout room in a minute here and stop gabbing and kind of show you some updates and what's new. A lot of new things, completely different era, and hope you guys enjoy it. And as always, thanks for taking the time out of your day to watch these videos. Please, if you can, hit the subscribe button, click the notification bell, and leave a comment. Good, bad, or indifferent. I appreciate all the feedback I get. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching, and let's go down and take a tour. Alright, so coming down the hallway, same as before. Got some new artwork. I put up some vintage advertisements. Kind of the same stuff I've had up to. And when we come in, you'll see it's a whole new world in here. We have our big screen. You can watch slideshows on and YouTube videos. We have our collection wall. You notice a lot of these Maine Central engines used to be in videos. There's some more in the collection. You've probably seen some of these in videos before. Builder's plate. It's actually 3D printed. Lantern light. And here we have my daughter's Lionel set. I, of course, helped her with. Now, this has been in previous videos. Nothing really new and exciting here. So I'll just turn this off so we can hear ourselves talk. Alright, that's better. That's fun, but it gets loud. So over here we have one of the Jensen engines. You've probably seen that in some other videos. And my Bmrrhs I got from my sister-in-law for installing a car seat. And here we have Juliet. She's inside. It's cold out this time of year. And this is a real steam engine. And there's real water that really will freeze and crack something probably valuable inside. So we have the other live steam collection up here. The Shea, the Critter, the other two steam engines. And if you notice, it starts to get a little bit blue over here. That's because the era we switched to, or that I switched to, is set in November 1957. So we're back to the transition era. And we're outside the Maine Central. We're now modeling the Boston and Maine, and I call it the White Division. So the scene here is basically early fall snowstorm that fell on a little town up in New Hampshire. It's nighttime. It's cold. We don't have mountains of snow yet, and there's still some autumn leaves on the trees. But what a fantastic scene. With this update of the layout, I've actually gone less into the operations side. You can only put so many of the same boxcars in the same spots so many times. Plus some of the guys that came down for operations night just physically aren't able to come down anymore as much as they would like. So take a tour around Clarksville here. So you're probably wondering how I did the blue lights in here. And I actually switched to these lights here. They're made by Philips. They're LEDs, and they're actually controlled with my phone app, so I can set different scenes and lighting configurations. So we have a rendition of the Caboose Motel here. The abandoned line is actually a trolley line now. Because in the 50s, streetcars were probably on the way out, but in my world, they were still there. We have downtown. The Boston and Maine mogul, how it works, switching into industry. Children playing a snowball fight with the freshly fallen autumn snow. And construction still has to go on. So the plows are out. The sawmill, they're working hard. Keep up lumber production. And with winter coming, the local coal dealer is very busy at work, along with the local oil dealer. Because in the post-war world, oil is slowly becoming king of the home heating. So this is becoming a more increasingly busy spot. Take a pan up here. See our locomotives. The outdoor layout just resting away for the winter. And we have a card from President Trump. One of my prized things in my collection. Some railroad art. Then we come down here to the mountain pass. Hunters in their cabin. We're going to get some autumn deer while it's in season. And we have the quiet mill paddling away with water power. A small depot. You might remember from previous tours that this was actually an engine house and a museum for the steam program, but since we're now back into the 50s, steam programs were just every day. We have a new depot, a new warehouse. We have one of my favorite locomotives, 3635. This was a Broadway Limited Canadian National that I added some detail parts and custom decals, assisted by 080 624. Coming up into the mountains, still see some of those fall leaves hanging on despite the early snow. Here we have the tunnel of the staging. That part RDC is on the staging track, where I'm using less of operations and more just trains running for scenic purposes. The staging track, I just put whole trains on there for basically next line out. Here we have the little village of Willie. And I think the lighting really makes this scene stand out with the snow. It's a little bit bled out by the sunlight, but for the tour I'm going to cover those windows. We have the farm. We come back to the plow extra. Waiting to take the Maine. Up here in the mountains, the snow builds up quick. And I've lost a car somewhere. I'll have to fix that. Lumber yard, or log camp, I should say. Crosses here the Maine. The ball signals protecting in a section house. Send that on its way. Here we have the other end of the tunnel. The tri-light protecting the tunnel entrance. Come into the yard. In the 50s, McGinnis Blue is starting to make its way in. I have one of the new custom Bowser RS3s. A beautiful engine. It is sound. I turned off all the sound on the engines just for the video purposes. Here we have somewhat of the city scene in winter. Sort of a skid row. It does a nice job of hiding the line back there, especially in photographs. The tower. Downtown area, and then roundhouse. I added some of those backdrop buildings just because, especially in photographs, it's nice to have a little bit of a backdrop of a city scene rather than just paneling. The obligatory Boston and Maine on the smokestack. Here we can see the roundhouse foreman and his helper admiring the steam killer. The Bluebird GP9s are making their inroads. Soon to replace all the steam locomotives on the Boston and Maine. reefer train, fresh in for produce for the Northeast for the upcoming Thanksgiving holiday. And a nice little mill to cap off the end of the layout. Old Chris Kringle, keep an eye. And instead of trying to make the Bull Moose branch its own separate layout, I just made it its own layout. This bridge that I had was getting problematic, and I had a lot of voltage drop and some technical challenges. I get the primary DCC over here, so this is going to be a DC powered layout since these are both dual mode engines. But this is a nice little complex switching layout, serving the mills. I got kind of some junk up there right now, but that'll be cleaned up before the tour. Dispatcher desk. I don't really dispatch, but it's a good place to look at some of the historical paperwork. Coming over to my historical area, I collect railroad paperwork, lanterns and so on, like everyone else. So this is kind of a place I put out the display. I have some of these Blueprint series cars that expand my passenger fleet. And another part of my library, collect a lot of books. Just kind of my downtime sometimes. I like to come down here. Kind of my fallen flags of places I used to work. My rail car and my engine. Me running some Pan Am power. That was our last day. In here is actually all the controls for the Lionel layout, nicely hidden. Keep that layout looking clean and little hands off of it. My nice leather chair I like to sit in and watch TV or read books. And not last but not least, I should say, the ON30. So when you stand in the layout room, I'm actually putting the camera way up here. When you stand in the layout room, it's actually this high at eye level. So it's a suspended layout. It suspends from the ceiling. There's not a lot of scenery just because I want to keep it light, and also you really can't see the track until the train's in front of you. And the reason I suspended it is I wanted an ON30 Western themed train, but I, as you can tell from this entire room, don't have a lot of room anymore. So there was no real place to put that. So that's why I suspended it from the ceiling. But another view here of the winter scene at night. So we're about 4 days out from the tour. And yeah, should be a good one. Our first one in 2 years. Hopefully we have a good turnout. Our number boards there. With our Avon trains. Those things up there, Avon used to sell, and my mother bought them for me thinking they were going to be worth like $5 million. And you can probably get them on eBay for like $5 to $10. I just keep them because they're already there. My picture of the 3635 at the Somerville Engine House. Getting steam cleaned. Unknown date, unknown photographer. We got a lot of Cam Sargent pictures around here. Cam Sargent is a artist, a true master artist. I collect almost all of his pictures that I can physically put up in the room. So let's look at the layout for the 2022 Tour De Chooch. If you can, stop on by. We'd be happy to have you. And if you can't, that's fine as well. We're more than happy to give you this video tour and update on what's going on here. I'm hoping I'm hoping on Saturday, but the two things that keep me from using it are if I can get some extra help to run the indoor trains, I will, so I can run that outside. If I can, it's hard to run HO scale inside and then live steam outside as one person, so that'd be kind of nice. If not, it'll look just as nice in here. It smells like coal and roundhouse, and I just absolutely love that smell. So maybe I'll keep it inside. Who knows? Here's another panoramic shot, if you will. And if you're wondering what light bulbs I use, they're just made by Philips. They're like 10 bucks a piece, but you control them through your phone. So, and you can go any color, not just blue. You can go purples or greens or any kind of color. So, hope you guys enjoy this tour. And thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the next one.